Hello students, Mr. Bastias here. Welcome to Unit 5, Week 3, Day 3. Make sure you have your Meetingmapper, article a day, your book of knowledge, and paper and pencil to write with. Today we will learn about invaders of the ecosystem, and we will have discussions about how they change the environment. Let's get started. Look at the image and pay close attention to the characteristics of this ecosystem. Use this graphic organizer to jot down details you observe, what the image makes you think, and some wonderings you have about the information. Keep in mind the relationships between the living and non-living things in the ecosystem. Pause the video and take a moment to do this now. Here are the 3 things I wrote down in my organizer. I see a rabbit, a pond, and a fox. This makes me think about ecosystems and how animals and plants live together. I wonder if this is a forest or a lake ecosystem. I'm not sure. There are many types of ecosystems. On the left, we have many different types of ecosystems. We have natural terrestrial ecosystems such as grassland, forest, and desert. We also have natural aquatic ecosystems like an ocean or a lake, but we also have artificial or man-made ecosystems such as an aquarium or a crop field. Pick one ecosystem you find interesting and list 3 characteristics to describe it. Pause the video and take a moment to do this now. I picked the desert ecosystem, and here are the 3 characteristics I wrote down. First, the desert is very dry. Second, it's also very hot. And third, it's very sunny. Let's get into our article a day, Invaders of the Ecosystem. Look at the image. What do you see? I see a strange animal. It looks like some type of rodent, maybe like a beaver. Let's dive into our article a day. Think of a pond with water, rocks, and mud. Animals live there. Plants grow all around it. Rain falls into the pond or the sun shines above it. A pond is an ecosystem. Ecosystems are places where living things, animals and plants, exist with non-living things such as water and soil. Everything in an ecosystem affects everything else. When one thing affects another thing, it makes a change in it or causes something to happen to it. In Spanish we say afectar, influir, o cambiar. When one thing changes in an ecosystem, it can change the whole thing entirely. Sometimes outside plants or animals are brought into ecosystems. These outsiders are called invaders. An invader is one who attacks or encroaches from the outside. They can cause real trouble. Here's an example. Nutria are small furry water animals. They look like beavers. This is a picture of a nutria, and this is a picture of a beaver. They're very similar. Nutria live in South America, but some people brought a group of them to the US. These people wanted to use nutria fur to make coats. People use the nutria's fur to make coats like this one. So people brought nutria to the United States so they could make coats. The nutria were kept on animal farms, but some escaped. They had so many babies that soon there were millions of nutria. In the wetlands of Louisiana and Maryland, these giant groups of nutria gobbled up plants that other animals in the ecosystem had left alone. They chewed up bulrush plants, including the roots. So these are some bulrush plants, and the nutria eat them. By doing that, nutria ruined the soil, making it very difficult for some new plants to grow. Partly as a result, thousands of acres of marshland in Maryland are now damaged. Damage means having sustained harm or injury. Because the nutria ate the bulrush plants, it ruined the soil, and now other plants can't grow there. U.S. wildlife experts have tried to reduce the number of nutria. In some areas, their plans have worked. Some areas have even gotten rid of all the nutria there. But where the nutria still remain, they continue eating up parts of the wetlands. So the nutrias are not supposed to be eating the plants that they're eating. And because they eat those, it throws off the whole ecosystem because one small change can change everything in an ecosystem. Please take out your book of knowledge. Write down 2 or 3 things you learned from the article and would like to remember. Pause the video and do this now. The first thing I learned is that nutria are small, furry water animals. I'm going to write that down. I learned that nutria are small, furry water animals. I also learned that nutria ate up plants that other animals in the ecosystem left alone. I also learned that nutria ate plants that other animals in the ecosystem left alone. This makes me think of beavers because nutria look a lot like beavers. This makes me think of beavers because nutria look a lot like beavers. Now, please take out your Meetingmapper. In the middle, we have our focus word ecosystem, which is a community of plants or animals that live together in a particular environment and depend on each other to survive. We already wrote down the words community, environment, and plants. But what other word could you add to your Meetingmapper? I added the word survive, because in an ecosystem, plants and animals depend on each other to survive. And that's it for me, students. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.